What's going on, guys? It's Jamie here from the FM Hub, posting today on FM Scout, and we are starting a new series today. It's a series that has had great success on my own channel, and I wanted to bring it over to FM Scout today. And that is, what if today SPL every team was a billionaire? So what if every team in the Scottish Premier League was given £1 billion to play with? Now, I've already done this on my channel with the Premier League, and we're currently in the process of doing it with the conference, and it's been very interesting. But this was suggested to me in a comment, and I think it'll be interesting because in the conference series we began to see lots of English youngsters be signed into the conference, and I think with the SPL we'll start to see more sort of continental players join the Scottish clubs. So first off, I want to ask you guys to please leave a comment or follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/FMHub and tweet me there your suggestions for which leagues you would like me to do next. But what we're going to do today, I've simulated forward our first season, so the first season is fully completed in Scotland, and we're going to take a look to see how wisely or unwisely this money that these teams have been given has been spent. Now, in my conference season, we had some ridiculous players join the league and ridiculous wages. I'm sure we'll see the same thing right now. But let's first of all check out the Scottish Premiership table and see if anyone has managed to knock Celtic off their throne. I've been explicitly asked to not cover Celtic. You know, people wanted me to see how other teams develop, so that's what we're going to do today. League table, Celtic winning the league after playing 28 games, winning 21, drawing 14, losing 3. 77 points, but St Johnstone only 5 points behind. If they had turned some of those losses into draws, they may have come away with the title. Inverness and Aberdeen occupy that top 4 as well. In the relegation playoffs was Motherwell and Kilmarnock. We can see the relegation playoff final. Wraith Rovers eventually came up. So they come up on 4-4 going to penalties. We can already see, we look at the player stats, we can see there's been some big transfers. Sam Byram is a player that often goes to a Premier League club, and he's ended up at Inverness. Rugani, 21-year-old, great youngster, Italian international as it goes, joining Aberdeen for £23 million in his first season, doing very well for them as they occupied a 4th place finish in the league. We can already see Origi has joined Aberdeen. Is it a permanent transfer? It is, for £19.5 million in his first season, getting 17 goals in 34 appearances. Not a bad return, but look at his wages. There they are, 450 grand per week. And what we saw in the conference series was the teams that were smart enough to not spend crazy amounts of money in their first few seasons, but rather improve the facilities and improve the ground and spend the money later on, actually worked out well for them. I mean, Boreham Wood was a team for us that got all the way almost to the Premier League from the conference, back-to-back promotions, but they went bankrupt and ended up under a transfer embargo, not being able to sign anyone and getting relegated. We may see the same today, well, or throughout this whole series. So we'll start off now by checking out the transfers. We always have a look at the transfers and see what the biggest transfers were. You can see that the biggest transfer was £37 million. Felix Paslak, who is a German youngster, defender. He can play all over the park, actually, in his first season. He's done okay, I suppose. £37 million is a lot of money, and he's also on a £450,000 per week contract. Also seen some transfers up in the high 20s. Munir from Barcelona is a name that I recognise going to Hearts. Jordan Rhodes, Scottish striker, of course. He's being brought back to Scotland. Well, not that he ever played there, but he, in his first season, after joining for £24 million, a huge amount of money, he scored 8 goals in 21 appearances. Not too bad, I suppose. He joined them at the start of the season, actually. We saw Munir actually joined in January. Callum Jameis, a player that was prevalent in our other series. He always turns up for whatever team he plays for. He had a pretty good season there, England international at this point. Benik Afobe, another player that has joined Dundee. Andy Carroll as well. That's what I like to see. Andy Carroll, 27 years old. He's a player that is, I wouldn't say in his prime, because his prime was probably his Newcastle days, which date back quite a few years. But he's still a fairly big player, in literal terms, as well as sort of his name. That's not a bad signing. I'm sort of skimming the list and looking for players that we wouldn't really expect to join teams. And here's one by here. Brielle Mbola, who we all know turns into an absolute beast up front. He's now playing for St Johnstone. And in his first season, actually, he's done okay. He's 8 in 13 after signing for them on the last day of the transfer window. He also got Will Hughes. Ryan Gould, a player, a good youngster from Sporting, a Scottish youngster, joining Ross County there for £10 million. We're seeing some big transfers throughout the whole thing. Sebastian Giovinco, another good player, would have done well for Aberdeen, I imagine, in the time played. He has done. Obviously, these teams are limited to games because they only play in. Look at that, Odegaard as well, going to Dundee. Michael Bradley. We've got some big transfers in there. Sven Bender, Tom Huddlestone. There's huge players that have actually joined the league already at this point, and it's going to be interesting to see how it develops. Pepe is now currently playing for Celtic. I imagine he's on 450 grand a week. Of course, he is a 33-year-old Pepe on 450 grand per week. Shane Long, another player we all know of. Jesse Lingard, a talented Manchester United youngster. Not too many big names elsewhere. We've seen some already big enough transfers. Chris Samba joining Aberdeen. But, it's going to be interesting to follow this series and see how really the teams do in the Champions League. Now, we've got Celtic, who are the team playing European football this year. How has their boost of money affected them? They qualified. We'll get rid of all these quickly and actually have a look at the Champions League here. We can see they didn't do too bad, actually. I mean, they got through all of the qualifying, fairly comfortable, winning every game, and only actually conceding one goal in the qualification process. They got a tough group of PSV, Porto, and Victoria Pilsen, or whatever the hell their name is, but they actually got out of that group miraculously, despite only winning 2 games. Let's take a look at the groups and see how they did. I know I wasn't going to say I was going to concentrate on Celtic, but we're always going to concentrate on the team that is in the Champions League, because we're really rooting for some European success. They managed to get through the group with 8 points, 1 point ahead of PSV. They got all the way then, playing Atletico Madrid. In the first game, they drew 1-1, a goal from Diego Roland, but they lost 2-0 in the second. I mean, that's not a bad run-in for Celtic. They've done pretty well there in the Scottish Premier League. So it's already interesting stuff. We're starting to see developments with Celtic, but I'm really interested in the push now for who can knock Celtic off their throne, because the Scottish Premier League, since Rangers left the league, has been completely dominated by Celtic, and I want to see them knocked off their perch, and I'm sure you're all the same for entertainment value. It has been now 5 years in a row they've won the league. I want them to be knocked off the throne. Everyone's on a level playing field now. They've all got £1 billion. It's now down to man management and seeing who can bring the club up. The Scottish Premiership is one thing we'll keep an eye on, their reputation. It's now currently 23rd in the world, just above the Sky Bet Championship. So it's going to be interesting to see how that league develops over time. Hoping that things will go well for them, we'll begin to see them push up a little bit. The reputation at the moment is currently 3 stars. I'd love to see that improve. Actually, for some reason... Oh, no, never mind. Carry on. So we're going to be interested to see what happens here in the Scottish Premier League. If there is anything else you'd like me to cover in these episodes, please do let me know in the comments below, and we will cover them extremely well. Now, the first video is always a short video, because normally we just concentrate on the first season just to get an idea of what to expect in this series, so you guys get a better understanding. If you want to see more, please let me know in the comments. Which leagues would you like me to do, as well as what other things would you like me to cover within this series? I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, make sure to follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/FM Hub, and make sure to subscribe to my channel and subscribe to FM Scout. I look forward to producing more of this content, so please let me know your feedback in the description. I will see you guys soon. Goodbye for now.